Police have begun a murder investigation after a woman was shot dead at a pub in a village on the Wirral. 3 men were taken to hospital. Well, joining me now live from the scene in Wallasey, Sky's Fraser Maud. Fraser, police have been giving an update. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, that's right. There was a brief police press conference a short time ago where more details were given about the incident last night. They have confirmed that the woman who died as a result of this firearms attack last night is a 26-year-old woman. They say they're not in a position to name her as yet, but that her family are currently being assisted by specially trained family liaison officers. They say that this was a callous shooting, a young woman on a night out with her sister and her friends when this incident happened. She received serious gunshot wounds to the head and was taken to Arrow Park Hospital, which is about 6 miles away from where we are now, but sadly efforts there to save her life were unsuccessful. 4 other people were injured. They say there's a 28-year-old man who's currently in a critical condition in hospital, a 22-year-old male who suffered injuries to his legs, a 24-year-old injuries to the hand, and a 33-year-old injuries to the wrist. This is what the Assistant Chief Constable Jennifer Sims said at the press conference about this attack.
The fact that this has happened on Christmas Eve makes the tragedy even more unpalatable and shows those responsible have no regard for members of the public who just want to be able to live their lives without fear. At the time the offender fired the gun, there were a large number of people enjoying a night out at the Lighthouse Inn, and the actions of the gunman were totally and utterly reckless.
Well, we also heard from the detective who's leading this murder investigation, who said that they are currently trying to establish motive and circumstances behind this. She said that we believe the gunman fired shots towards the front entrance of the pub, and then they believe that the gunman, thought to be a male, possibly left in an A-class Mercedes pub, which was in the pub car park, and they clearly want to speak to that male. They say they won't rest until they find the people responsible for this crime. Of course, it's been a devastating blow to this whole community here. This is a pretty quiet village. People have been telling us how this is not an area that is used to trouble, certainly nothing in the magnitude of this. And earlier on we spoke to one of the local residents here, Phil, who was watching TV at home at the time when this incident took place. This is what he told us.
What my wife thought was fireworks, but it was actually, you know, obviously I'm familiar with the noise. It was from, I used to be in the Territorial Army years ago, so could hear what sounded like gunshots, and it was rapid fire, probably one after the other, maybe 6 or 7 shots. 4 or 5 minutes later, you know, more and more people started coming this way, and we could hear some noise in the background, and then eventually we heard sirens, and we knew then something bad had happened.
Here we know firearms offences, gun crime was brought into sharp focus earlier this year, back in August, when 3 people lost their lives in firearms offences here in Liverpool. 9-year-old Olivia Pratt-Corbell, 28-year-old Ashley Dale and 22-year-old Sam Rimmer, all shot and killed within the period of about 2 weeks or so. And police then spoke of something that they referred to as this wall of silence, of people unwilling or unable to come forward and give information vital to bringing the killers to justice. However, in this incident, the detective leading the investigation has said that they've had an overwhelming response so far from the public, particularly from the people in the pub. That means that they're following several lines of inquiry. We've seen forensic officers here at the scene all day gathering evidence, taking it away in evidence bags. Several vehicles now have loaded up potential evidence to be taken away for further examination. In the meantime, house-to-house inquiries are still continuing, and the area remains cordoned off with a strong police presence here, partly to assist in that investigation, but also to give reassurance to the public.
Fraser, thank you. Fraser Moore with the latest from the Wirral.